Alright guys, so I'm back again with another video. And I know it's been a while since y'all seen my face, but had a lot of stuff going on and whatnot. But hey, here I am. So I kind of want to talk about the things that have been going on with free agency as it pertains to the Bulls. And I just kind of want to discuss a little bit about, their free agency moves and the draft and, how I feel about all that. So let me start off with the rookie. I believe his name is Dalen Terry. Look, I think I have the same sentiments as most, where I was originally really upset about the pick, but I'm a lot less upset about the pick now. However, I'm still frustrated because you could have got Kenny Lofton out of Tech, which is college I went to, and if you've seen him in summer league, he was giving Chet the business. Could have had a couple other guys that were still in the lotto that I think would have been better additions to this team and would have rounded out the roster, especially when you look at the fact of who we actually got in free agency. Um, all we got is Drummond and Dragic, and that doesn't do much for the team. Like, okay, I get it. Drummond is a backup, like rebounder, rim protector, yada yada yada. Um, and that's okay, I guess. He's 28, 29 years old. He's still relatively young, but he's not the Drummond of old where he used to go out there and get like a 20-20 game like every night if you freaking wanted to, and he was like a perennial all-star. He's not that guy right now, and he's playing a backup role. Vooch is still going to be the main guy on his team, and so I don't see, you know, how, like, in a short-term vacuum, it's not bad, but it's like you should have better. You know what I'm saying? And then we got Goran Dragic, who was initially, his initial reports say, um, he was recruited by Vooch. And to me, it's kind of like, well, damn, what's up with all these guards? And if you want to keep track of it, it's Javante Green, because yes, I still consider him a guard. Zoe, Zach, Caruso, Io, Dalen Terry, who was also a guard forward, so I still consider him that. We're talking DeRozan, now Dragic, and I think I also forgot Kobe White in that too. So that's 9 guards or guard-like players. I can even throw Derrick Jones in there as a guard too. You know, and it's just, to me, it's just one of those things where it's like, damn, what are we supposed to do with all these guards? You know, we still don't have a true power forward. The only true wing on the roster is Pat Williams. That's the only true wing. And so, to me, it's one of those things where I just really don't see how, like, the issues we had of last year are still going to be there this year. The only difference is, as far as guard is concerned, we're going to be covered in case of injuries. And you might look at all these guards and be like, okay, this is Lonzo insurance. And I made the joke on Twitter the other day. I was like, damn, you need this many bodies to replace what Lonzo does? Because certain fan bases thought, they could easily replace his production, and you can't. And so you got all these guards here, and to me, it's just like, why are they all here? What's the point? Some people like speculate it could be a big deal coming. Most of the big name bodies are gone off the board now. I mean, John Collins, we haven't heard anything about that, and it seems like the market for him has dried up, along with the market for Jakob Poeltl potentially from the Spurs. I don't know of too many others. Like, maybe you could try to get Naz Reid or something from Minnesota, because he wasn't in that trade for Rudy Gobert, but I doubt they want to get rid of him. So I don't know. I really don't know what the expectation is for this team. Like, when you look at it in a vacuum, all the other teams around us got better. And the league works in 2 ways. There's 2 places you want to be: at the very top and at the very bottom. In the middle is no man's land. If you're in the middle, you're gonna have it hard because you're not gonna be terrible enough to get an elite draft pick, and you're not gonna be good enough to win a chip unless you have a lot of things going your favor, injuries. You know what I'm saying? With the bracket, you get the right matchups in the playoffs and stuff, or something like that. It's just not going to happen. Or maybe you have a player that has one very uh, elite caliber season that can maybe jettison you or push you over the top. But to me, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't see how we improve. We're going to be the Atlanta Hawks and New York Knicks of last year, this year. Speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, they got better with DeJounte Murray. Now that remains to be seen how they execute on the court and how they play. But I mean, it's they got better. Even the Knicks, for all their roles, they got Jalen Brunson from my Mavs. So, he's going to help. I honestly don't know how I feel about that move for them, by the way. I have my opinions, but at the same time, they still got better, man. They got better. The Detroit Pistons made a lot of good moves, especially in the draft. They improved. They got rid of Jeremy Grant. They got a draft pick. They drafted 2 players, high caliber skill players at that. I mean, they just got better. Okay, Orlando got their guy. They got their guy. So, even though those teams won't be better than us, the point is the wins are going to be harder to come by. And even when you look at a team like the Brooklyn Nets, yes, they have all this issue with KD and Kyrie and stuff. Neither of those guys are guaranteed to be able to play this year. Neither of those guys, at least for Brooklyn anyway. So we don't know. They might have to play for Brooklyn. And if they play for Brooklyn, Brooklyn is still going to be a playoff team. Just because of those two's existence, they're going to be a playoff team. So there's no guarantee that the Bulls are going to win. No one expects Miami to fall off. No one expects, Boston, who got better because they got Malcolm Brogdon. If you guys have followed me on like Twitter or in the chats that I'm in, you know that I've been saying, hey, Brogdon might be something that the Celtics need, especially if they wanted to move on from Smart. But they kept Smart and got Brogdon. Like, ridiculous. Toronto is still going to be there, albeit I don't think they'll be better than us. Cleveland is still going to be there, and they're likely going to have to sign Colin Sexton to a team-friendly deal unless he's smart and says, you know what, I'll take the qualifying offer and then be a free agent next year where there's going to be a lot of money, a lot of cap space, and I'll take my chances then. But Cleveland is going to be better because you expect Evan Mobley to improve. These guys will have that continuity. Darius Garland will still be improving. You still have Jarrett Allen. Larry Marketing, hopefully, it still improves. They're going to be better. Okay? All the teams that were above us are going to be better because they either have their guy or they're going to have more continuity or they just made better moves. And so I don't really know how we're supposed to contend when all the teams that were better than us got better and the teams that were worse than us got better, and here we are staying right where we are in the middle, and there's still question marks about so. And I can't say there's as many about Zach LaVine because there was a video yesterday that came out of him working with Drew Hammond. So I don't really know what to say on that end. Okay, if we got to start the season without Zoe, chances are we're not going to be as good, And so I don't really know how to say we're going to be any, like, this is a play-in team. Like, the Bulls right now are 8 to 10 seed, unless they make some big major move that we don't know about. Like, all the ones we thought they might make are off the board. Mo Bamba re-signed. And here's the thing, we're still under the luxury tax, which tells me that's not Acme's fault. That's ownership. Ownership didn't want to go into the tax for this team. Otherwise, they could have got Mo Bamba. Otherwise, they could have got some of these other dudes. So, if your team is not willing to spend, how do you win? All the teams that are spending tend to be winning more, with the exception of the Lakers. But That's LeBron hell. If you follow LeBron teams, you know first 2 years or so is pretty good. After that, there's a steep drop off, and eventually he moves on after like the fourth year. That's that's just the way LeBron operates. He eats up resources, all the free resources within the first 2 to 3 years, and then after that, when there's no resources, he moves on. So I don't really know, what to tell you. Hell, even Memphis, they're gonna have more continuity. They still got most of their pieces back, but when you go look at their draft, like when you got someone like Kenny Lofton who's on a two-way deal, who should have been drafted, and you see him showing out in summer league having it, but he looks like Zion with the polished jump shot already, without the athletic gifts. That's what he looks like. He looks like Zion with the shooting, but without the strength, the overall strength, and the overall athletic ability. And he's no pushover. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's just, I know that's the West, but hell, speaking of Zion, Pelicans re-signed him, 5 year deal. Now that don't mean he's gonna stay all 5 years, but they still got him locked in. And for all intents and purposes, he looks great. Like, the Pelicans look to be in a better position right now. Okay, you know, Golden State made some changes. Some of their guys left, but they kept most of their key guys. Okay, teams are getting better, but we're in the middle, so we're destined to be mid for this year. Um, I don't think the shooting is going to be better. Rebounding should be better, but not by much, because we didn't get a power forward who can get on the boards too. We just have two centers, Vooch and Drummond, and so that's okay, but that's not enough to push the needle forward. And so there's that, and then the defense part. Like, speaking of John Collins and Giannis like players, who's going to guard them? Who's going to guard them? I don't know who's going to guard either one of them, because Pat can't do it. Okay, he just simply cannot do it. And the fact that we didn't go draft a guy who was available that could do that, or the fact that we didn't go get a guy like that in free agency, it sucks. It really does. But what can you do when your hands are tied by ownership and they say we're not to spend more money that'll put us in the luxury tax? So it sucks to be a Zoe fan at times, people, because you always end up with like a bad organization in some way. But anyway, that's all I got. Y'all have a good one. Peace.